Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Happy Friday. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Here, today is Friday, March 20th, 2026. So today, I'm going to start the show way early than expected. So, today we're going to do the topics. So we'll see how this is going to pan out here. Let's start with start with the college basketball. We started first round, day one. We've seen some final scores. So far, we have 3 double-digit seeds pulling off their upsets and moving on to round 32. We'll find out who were the 3 double-digit seeds who move on to round 32. So we'll get to that in about a few more minutes. All right, so let's update the East region from yesterday's game. The first game, TCU holds off Ohio State 66-64. The game was fantastic yesterday. TCU's offense was good in the first half, fell apart in the second half, but they made big moments in the final minutes of the game. And so they made big moments today. To do all of that, so Robinson led the way with 18 points for TCU. He made 4 3-pointers. The guy who delivered a game winner, Xavier Edmonds, with a game-winning layup with 4 seconds left to play. Then Bruce Thornton had a chance to win it for 3, could not make it as the Horned Frogs advance. Meanwhile, number 1, the best team in the tournament, Duke Blue Devils, comes back and holds off a 16 seed Siena 71-65. Duke was down by 11 at halftime. They came back and they beat Siena. John Shire said, "We did not play great basketball in a win yesterday. We said we got to clean things up and we got to move on from that, as Duke will face TCU tomorrow in a round 32 matchup, and the winner will advance to Sweet 16 next week." So let's stay with the East region. Louisville defeats South Florida 83-79. So another top team survived from upset. Louisville won yesterday. McNeely had 23 points. He made 7 3-pointers. Louisville made 13 3-pointers, shot 52% from long range, 54% from the field. Despite they commit 20 turnovers and they missed 11 free throws. So Louisville won ugly yesterday. It was tough to go through it. this one. And then you got so Louisville advances to round 32. Meanwhile, let's stay with the East region. Michigan State defeats North Dakota State 92-67. And Tom Izzo said, "We have an easy path to beat North Dakota State." Carson Cooper leads the way with 20 points, 10 rebounds. And Michigan State has 6 blocks last night. So that was a good game to watch. Let's check it. All right, let's see what's going on in the West region. We have Arkansas beating Hawaii 97-38. Arkansas's offense is one of the best in the country. The Razorbacks. The guy who took over, Darius Acuff Jr., had 24 points, 7 assists, and Arkansas, despite Arkansas shot just 19% from long range, just 4 for 21. They need to be better from three-pointer in their next game, otherwise they could be a second-round exit. They did have 5 blocks, 8 steals, and 27 assists. So that's how Arkansas won yesterday. High Point pulls off the upset against Wisconsin 83-82, thanks to a game-winning 2-pointer from Chase Johnston. He made his only 2-pointer made all year long. He had a game-winning layup with 11 seconds left. And then Wisconsin had a chance to win it, but Wisconsin turned it over, and High Point pulls off a gigantic upset. High Point becomes the first double-digit seed to pull off the upset of this tournament. There were 2 more yesterday. So, how High Point beat Wisconsin yesterday. High Point made 15 three-pointers out of 40. They shot 38% from long range. They have 6 steals, 5 blocks for High Point. In fact, they were down by High Point Panthers down by 10 points. Looked like Wisconsin could have pulled this game away, but the guy who took over is Rob Martin. He leads the team with 23 points for High Point and got this team the victory. So High Point will face Arkansas tomorrow. Will High Point make the big dance for the Sweet 16 to make a deep March Madness run? I believe they can. I think they have a better chance to do it. Excuse me. They have a pretty good chance to do it. So we're gonna keep this thing in mind. And then we'll continue the West region. There's another upset. Texas shocks BYU 79-71. The Longhorns, the Texas Longhorns, get another winning ways here, defeating BYU 79-71. Boca Titans had 23 points. Despite he missed 8 free throws, he went 3 for 11 at the line. He did have 16 rebounds. Mark had 19 points for Texas. Swain had 14. But the guy for BYU who had a strong game, AJ Bonta had 35 points. That was a BYU first round March Madness program record. That was BYU's March Madness program record for Dibansta. That's the most points he scored by any round in BYU in the debut in BYU history. Despite the loss, he is a talented young man. I'm not sure Bonsta is going to declare the 2026 NBA draft. If he decides to stay, if he decides to forego this year's draft, then he'll play BYU for one more season to improve their national championship rankings. But actually, to improve their national championship expectations. So despite they got upset by Texas, I think this team has a chance to win the Big 12 next year if the Bonsta decided to return and forego in 2026 draft. So we'll keep a close eye on that. As for Texas, congratulations, you move on to the second round. We'll see who face the 3 versus 14 matchup in the West region. Gonzaga played Kennesaw State last night, and Gonzaga holds on, defeating Kennesaw State 73-64. Kennesaw State actually got off to a good start. They started off 10-0, and then actually Gonzaga got to a nice 12-7 start, and then Gonzaga closed the first half a 10-0 run, and then they took control of this game before Kennesaw State stormed back. Looked like they had a chance to upset Gonzaga, but some big shots for Gonzaga down the stretch, and ended up winning 73-64. The guy who got it going for Gonzaga, who led the way, Graham Ike had 19 points for Gonzaga. So, did Gonzaga shoot the 3-point ball well? No, they went 3 for 18. Did Gonzaga shoot the ball well overall? No, they shot 40% from the field. 25 for 63. Just did not shoot the ball well. But the free throws was the big story. 20 out of 23 for Gonzaga, 87%. They made 39 rebounds. 15 were offensive rebounds, 24 defensive. But the big story has been their defense. Gonzaga's defense was the bigger story. How to advance to the second round. So Gonzaga will face Texas in tomorrow's second round. That's the West region. The Midwest region, Michigan defeats Howard 101-78. Michigan got off to a little bit of a slow start, especially defensively. Michigan's offense was great yesterday, but defense has to play better. So who led? Morris Johnson Jr. had 21 points. Mara had 19. Burnett had 15. Gale Jr. had 14. McKinney had 10. Michigan makes a lot of offensive contributions. Michigan finished 67% from the field, 46% from long range. That's how we know Michigan's one of the best defenses in the country. Can the offense sustain it in March? That's why they're the best team in the region of Midwest. Gilius had a nice game for Howard with 21 points and 5 made three-pointers. Harris had 21, Taylor had 19. But the guy who had a rough game yesterday for Howard is Okoji. He went 2 for 9. So disappointing loss for Howard, but there were encouraging signs. They won their first ever tournament in the first four a few days ago, but unfortunately, they just didn't sustain it in the rest of the second half, especially defensively. Defense didn't come through at all for Howard. So Michigan advanced to round 32. And then St. Louis defeats Georgia 102-77. And they're doing it in a dominant second half for St. Louis defense. St. Louis defense was flawless in the second half. But in the first half, defense struggled with fouls. But St. Louis dominated in the second half, defeated Georgia. Brown had 18 points, led the way. St. Louis didn't shoot the three-point ball particularly well, just 9 for 28. They did shoot 58% from the field, and they held the Georgia just 35% from the field and 26% from long range. So that's how St. Louis defeating Georgia. They beat their own game. And transition battle was won by St. Louis. And that was key. That was key early on. They need somebody to really step up for this one here. Take a look at the South region. What happened yesterday? We had Vanderbilt beat McNeese 78-68. Vanderbilt. It wasn't easy for Vanderbilt, but they found a way to win. So, how Vanderbilt did yesterday. They shot 51% from the field, 38% from long range. And who led the way for Vanderbilt points was Tyler Tanner with 26 points, 3 3-pointers, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. Let's stay with South region. Nebraska beats Troy 76-47. Nebraska, their first March Madness win in their program history. Fred Hoiberg is Nebraska's head coach. And then Sanford had 23 points for Nebraska. And they end up going to round 32. Nebraska yesterday, they made 14 three-pointers, shot 36% from long range. Nebraska forced 17 Troy turnovers. So that's that. So Vanderbilt will face Nebraska tomorrow. Then yesterday, VCU upsets North Carolina in overtime, 82-78. What happened at last night's game? It was a disappointing loss for North Carolina. The offense looked stagnant. North Carolina had no made field goals in overtime. And the guy who hit a game-winner for VCU, Terrence Hill Jr., hit a game-winning three-pointer to make it 80-78. And then it ended up 82-78 in overtime, belonged to VCU. VCU's defense was fantastic. They were down. VCU was down by 19. And all North Carolina has to do is put this game away, and they didn't do it. But VCU, with a huge comeback, and Terrence Hill Jr. had 34 points, and he made 7 threes. That's how VCU defeated North Carolina. They beating their own game. When they come back from 19 points down, they knew VCU is not going to go down without a fight. And you know it. And then Illinois defeats Penn 105-70. So it'll be VCU versus Illinois. For a second round matchup. And then Texas A&M defeats St. Mary's 63-50. Actually, that's 4 double-digit seeds moving on to the second round. And then Houston beats Idaho convincingly 78-47. So far, how many double-digit first rounds are in right now? So, High Point, Texas A&M, Texas, and VCU. 4 teams are in the double digits, moving on to round 32. So far. think that's a good sign the rest of the March Madness? Sure it is. So this is exciting. So that's the first round matchups recap from yesterday. So that'll be that. So when we come back on JDB's morning cap, we'll talk. We'll update the NFL season schedule, and then we'll do third quarter report cards, and then we'll do March Madness first round day 2. We will step away in 3 minutes. Welcome back here on JDB's morning cap. Let's start with the NFL today. So we talk about that. So the NFL season expects to start on Wednesday, September 9th, 2026. So it looks like the Seahawks will host NFL kickoff on September 9th. And then Niners and Rams will play September 10th. So they'll start one day early than expected. The last time the NFL season played the Wednesday, we got to go back to last time it was 2012. September 5th, 2012, that was the last time they played the Wednesday to start the season. The New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Giants were defending Super Bowl champs at the time. So, and Obama was still the president at the time as well. So, that was the last time the NFL season began on the Wednesday. So they will do it this year. Seahawks will host that game on September 9th. But they have not mentioned, so they have not revealed their opponents yet. Or Seattle, excuse me. But, so the NFL schedule in 2026 expect to be 100% conflict, because when I look at their schedule, it really feels like this is getting out of hand and stuff. It's really producing. It's really producible. So that's been a golden difference right now. And this is what's going to happen. You can put yourself in a better position. They can really do that. So this is what happened. So some people may not like that. So hopefully the NFL schedule is proving to be the difference right now. And it's tough to wait it out. But you may be okay with that. And because of it, so it's going to be a different story. I mean, yeah, you said the NFL schedule is going to sell in because of that. If you want to play football, and that's that. The NFL schedule, they're gonna make some more money because the NFL schedule is continuing to impact in 2026. Like Thanksgiving Eve could be the Wednesday, then Thanksgiving Day Thursday, then Black Friday Friday, and then the rest of the NFL Sunday games. It's hard to watch. All right, coming up, we'll talk NBA third quarter report cards. The fourth quarter NBA was already started, and then we'll preview March Madness first round day 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on JDB's Morning Cap. Let's take a look. Let's see let's take some report cards in and out. Do some NBA recaps as well. So let's see how this is gonna pan out in this one. So let's do evaluation. Pacers has the worst record in basketball. So let's start with the Eastern Conference. Number 15 is the Pacers, 15 and 55. I give Pacers an F because this season has been a failure, or it's been disaster to say the least. Number 14 is the Wizards, 16 and 53. I give them an F as well. This team has been bad as well. Number 13 is the Brooklyn Nets, 17 and 52. I give them an F as well. So this team has been a disaster also. Number 12 is the Chicago Bulls, 28 and 42, D minus. And I think this Bulls team is completely dysfunctional because they have so many small lineups. Number 11, 28 and 41 Bucks. Also D minus, a failure as well. Number 10 is Charlotte Hornets, 36 and 34. C. It's a C for Hornets. Improved season for them. Maybe a play-in tournament team. Number 9, 76ers, 38 and 32. I'm going to give a C as well. Maxey, Edgecombe have performed well, but with Maxey being out, the biggest weaknesses for the Sixers has been health. So they're going to get George back next week. So that's a huge win for Philadelphia. Number 8 is Miami Heat, 38 and 32. I'm going to give them a C as well. Miami Heat, they've just been inconsistent. When they're healthy, this team is dangerous. When they're not, this team has been inconsistent. Number 7 is Orlando Magic, 38 and 31. Another C I'm gonna give them a C for Magic as well. Magic, they've been, when they're healthy, they're dangerous. When they're not, they're inconsistent as well. The consistency is not there right now. Number 6 is the Atlanta Hawks, 38 and 31. And I'm going to give them a C plus because I think Hawks could be top 6. Maybe they can get past Toronto. If it's Hawks Caps, oh boy, this is going to be a deep run for them. And then Toronto Raptors, 39 and 29. I'm gonna give Raptors a C plus. I think Toronto is overachieved for a majority of different reasons, but I think Toronto has a chance to hold on to the top 5, maybe top 6, what they deserved. They're probably going to end up winning 47 games. That's understandable. Number 4 is the Cleveland Cavaliers, I give them a C plus as well. I think Cleveland will hold on to the top 4. And this is what This Is Different is all about. It's Donovan Mitchell. Number 3 is the New York Knicks, 45-25. I'm gonna give them a B plus. I think the Knicks has a better chance to not only get to the playoffs, they try to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. If they can get past Boston. New York Knicks got twice as more experience than the Celtics. Even the Celtics got a handful of experience as well, like Tatum, Brown, Pritchard, Hauser. And speaking of the Celtics, 46-23, B plus. Huge. We've seen some huge moments for the Celtics, time and time again. Jaylen Brown MVP type season. Now he could increase his MVP candidate right now, with Cade Cunningham being out for the Pistons. Number 1 is the Pistons, the best team in the East, with a 50-19 record. So Pistons would clinch the playoff position real soon. And they're going to do it without Cade Cunningham. And the grade what I give the Pistons, I'm giving them an A on this one. I think this team is clearly overachieved. All right, let's take a look at the Western Conference. Sacramento Kings, 18-53. I'll give them an F. It's been a disastrous season. The Utah Jazz, 21-49. Another F as well. Mavericks, 23-47. It's D minus. Pelicans, 25-46. Also D minus. Grizzlies, 24-44. D minus. Warriors, 23-36. It's a D. Trailblazers, 34-36. C minus. Clippers, 34-36. C minus as well. Suns, 39-31. A C. Nuggets, 42-28. A C. Rockets, 41-27. That's also a C. Timberwolves, 43-27. A C. Lakers, 45-25. B minus. Spurs, 52-18. B plus. Thunder, 55-15. A. Thunder has the best record in basketball with a 55-15 record. All right, so let's move on for that. Lakers beat the Heat 134-126. Luka Doncic had 60 points. 60 points. 60 points. 18 made field goals, 9 made three-pointers, 5 steals, 7 rebounds. LeBron James had a triple-double, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. The Lakers shot 44% from long range, 14 for 32, 53% overall from the field. Luka is on the roll. These past few games, he has scored more than 30 points in each and every game right now. Lakers is having a big month. So far, Lakers have been successful on this road trip. They're 3-0 on this trip. They beat the Rockets twice. They beat the Heat last night. And you gotta stack up some key wins to get the path to the playoffs. And path to the number 3 seed is going to be key for the Lakers going forward. It should help its cause. So, Lakers will play the Magic tomorrow in Orlando. Let's see if they can trend up some things. Coming up next on JDB's Morning Cap, we'll preview this first round, day 2. So, and then we'll do for my picks for today. So far, I am 16-3. Actually, I'm 17. Am I right? I'm 17-3 of my picks of March Madness through the first 3 days. So we got 16 more games in the first round to go before we move forward to round 32 for the second round. Second round March Madness for men starts tomorrow. Women's first round begins today. So we'll step away. All right, so we're going to preview the March Madness first round, day 2. Let's see who's in action today. So let's see who are my potential picks today. Today we got UC Santa Clara, number 10, take on number 7, Kentucky. Who I'd like to win today? I like Kentucky winning. 64-59, Kentucky. That's my prediction. So I think Kentucky moves on. Number 12, Akron versus number 5, Texas Tech. Who I like to win? I like Texas Tech winning 94-89. And then LIU, number 16, taking number 1, Arizona. Arizona's going to win convincingly 94-65. Virginia, number 3, first team, number 14, Wright State, who I like to pick. And I like Virginia winning 96-66. And then number 2, Iowa takes on number 15, Tennessee State. I like Iowa winning 68-58. Number 13, Hofstra take on number 4, Alabama. I like Alabama beating Hofstra 96-74. And then you got number 9, Utah State take on number 8, Villanova Wildcats. I like Villanova beating Utah State 74-72. Number 11, Miami, Ohio, taking number 6, Tennessee. I'm going to go Miami, Ohio. Upset Tennessee. 89-84. I like Miami, Ohio winning it. Number 9, Iowa, take on number 8, Clemson. I like Iowa. Iowa's defense is great. Iowa will beat Clemson 54-51. And then number 12, UNI, stands for University of Northern Iowa. Take on number 5, St. John's. I like St. John's beating UNI 76-67. And then number 10, UCF, take on number 7, UCLA. I like UCLA winning over UCF 64-59. And then you got number 15, Queens, take on number 2, Purdue. I like Purdue beating Queens today 89-76. Number 16, Prairie versus number 1, Florida. I like Florida winning 93-59. California Baptist, number 13, takes on number 4, Kansas. I like Kansas winning 76-74. I think Cal Baptist will hang around, but I think Kansas will hold on. Number 15, Furman, take on number 2, UConn. I like UConn winning 94-50. And then finally, number 10, Missouri, taking number 7, Miami, Florida. I like Miami, Florida beating Missouri 73 to 66. So that's my predictions. So, who are my picks? So far, Kentucky. I like Kentucky beating Santa Clara. And then I like Texas Tech over Akron. Right? I like Texas Tech over Akron. I like Arizona beating LIU. I predict Virginia beats Wright State. I predict Iowa State beats Tennessee State. And I predict Alabama beating Hofstra. And then I predict Villanova beats Utah State. I predict Miami, Ohio beats Tennessee. And I predict Iowa beats Clemson. I predict St. John's beats UNI. And then I predict UCLA beats UCF. I predict Purdue beats Queens. And I predict Florida beats Prairie View. I predict Kansas beats California Baptist. I predict UConn beats Furman. And finally, I predict Miami, Florida beats Missouri. Miami Hurricanes. So those are my picks for this one. Alright, so let's finish this off on today's morning cap. What's coming up on JDB's morning cap? We'll recap round 32 from Saturday and Sunday. I'll talk about that on Monday. Who goes to Sweet 16? We're going to see eight games playing on Thursday and 8 games playing on Friday next week. And then we'll talk some NBA and then Major League Baseball season is just around the corner. We'll talk about that as the season begins next less than a week. NFL draft is 1 month away, so I know we're really excited. It's the biggest week of all. All right, man, I'm out of here. This is JDB's Morning Cap. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back with you on Monday. Have a good weekend, guys.